Even in total darkness, you have to stay alert, Honey said, her voice sharp and serious. You're the Garnet Warrior. Remember the medallion. Use its power to see through the darkness. She flicked an audio device onto the cracked floor, and the haunting wail of a baby echoed off the walls, meant to lure their monstrous prey closer. Honey, you can't be serious. This isn't the plan. If we're not quiet, the demon will sense us before we can attack. Sevyn whispered, his voice tight with desperation, frustration built in his chest, his breathing quick and shallow, fear sharp in the air. The sense of doom pressed down on him, cold and heavy. He watched as Honey's shape faded into the darkness, swallowed by the shadows. The corridor seemed to close in, every corner threatening. Alone, Sevyn felt every nerve on edge, the darkness ahead feeling almost alive. Now alone in the crumbling maze-like wing of the abandoned hospital, Sevyn was overwhelmed by fear, but determination rose in him. The hospital felt like a tomb, with grimy walls, sagging ceiling tiles, and every step kicking up dust and the faint smell of old antiseptic. Despite his unease, Sevyn gripped the ancient medallion at his neck. Its surface was warm, the carved symbols pulsing with energy that seemed to sink into his skin. He closed his eyes, trying to activate shadow sight, hoping to see through the darkness and spot hidden dangers. But nothing happened. Only darkness remained, and doubt crept in. Was he truly worthy of this power, or would the darkness win? As he moved through the dim 12th floor, the sharp smell of sulphur burned Sevyn's throat, warning him the demon was near. The air was heavy and stale, filled with the memory of old suffering. He stumbled past overturned gurneys and broken cabinets, medical charts and IV poles scattered on the floor. Dusty wheelchairs sat in the corners, their wheels locked in place. Each step sent tile fragments skittering across the floor, echoing through the halls. His heart pounded as every sound seemed to follow him. When he sensed Alabasandria nearby, Sevyn swung his double-bladed staff in quick, desperate arcs, the blades catching bits of light as he defended himself. Every move was a fight to survive. With each swing, Sevyn fought both the shadows and the despair inside him. To anyone who is watching, his movements might have looked frantic or desperate, but he refused to give in to fear. He was the Garnet Warrior, heir to a legacy built on struggle and sacrifice, his ancestors' hopes burning inside him. Even when he stumbled, his determination grew stronger. He could sense the demon getting closer in the darkness, but he would not run. This was his fight to finish, and he meant to face it with courage and strength. From the shadows, Alabasandria watched, her body low and cat-like, emerald eyes focused. The dim light reflected off her scales, casting strange colors on the walls. She felt a thrill as she watched Sevyn, noticing every anxious movement and weakness. He was so focused on his mission that he didn't see her watching. Alabasandria flexed her claws, waiting for the right moment to strike, enjoying the anticipation. She didn't know that Honey, the wild-haired guardian, was also moving through the halls, ready to protect Sevyn. Suddenly, chaos broke out. Sevyn, deep in concentration, left his back unguarded for a moment, a dangerous mistake. Alabasandria lunged from the shadows, her body moving like a predator, claws reaching for Sevyn's back. But before she could strike, Honey rushed in, crashing into the demon and knocking her off balance. The two women tumbled across the floor, fighting fiercely with kicks, punches, and curses. In the middle of the struggle, Honey reached out and opened a swirling portal glowing with eerie light. With a final effort, she pulled Alabasandria into the portal, sending them both to the dark basement of her family's funeral home. The two women's screams filled the air, their voices echoing down the ruined hospital halls. The intensity of their fight cut through the tension, each cry full of pain and anger. Sevyn, heart racing, turned just in time to see Honey and Alabasandria disappear into the swirling portal. The sight snapped him out of his shock. Without thinking, he jumped in after them, determined not to let the moment pass. In the cold, dim basement, lit only by a flickering bulb casting long shadows, Honey and Alabasandria scrambled to their feet, tense and wary. The cellar smelled of old wood, stone, and a hint of lavender incense, dust swirling in the air. The two women didn't hesitate to resume their battle. Honey lunged and landed a hard punch. Alabasandria blocked and struck back with her claws. Sevyn stood at the edge, muscles tight, gripping his staff and waiting for his chance to help. The sounds of fighting echoed off the stone walls as Honey pressed her attack, pushing Alabasandria back. Each move made the fight more intense, Honey's grief and anger driving her forward. Honey's knuckles were raw and split, blood seeping between her fingers as she drove a calculated punch into Alabasandria's jaw. The impact snapped the demon's head back. Still, before Alabasandria could recover, Honey pivoted on her heel and delivered a swift, punishing kick to her opponent's ribs, a dull crack echoing in the confined space. Alabasandria lashed out in retaliation, claws carving the air inches from Honey's face, forcing her to drop and roll away. Despite the searing pain in her hands and the bruises blooming across her arms, adrenaline kept Honey moving. Sharp jabs and lightning-fast kicks driving Alabasandria relentlessly across the cramped, echoing room. Every strike was a deliberate act of vengeance, a physical outpouring of the grief and fury that had built since the demon tore her family apart. The fight pressed on, each blow a desperate bid to reclaim what had been lost, every move a testament to Honey's unbreakable will. Honey pushed Alabasandria back, pinning her against the rough stone wall. Tension filled the small room. Alabasandria staggered, breathing hard, as Honey pulled back her fist for another hit. But Sevyn, sensing the moment, stepped forward with his staff ready, determination in his eyes. Honey quickly moved aside to let him through. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. Sevyn faced the demon, weapon raised, adrenaline rushing. Now, with both warriors side by side, they prepared for the final part of the fight, knowing everything depended on what they did next.